Hi, my name is Nur Nabila Natasha binti Muhammad Nasri. My matric number is 280620. I am from Group H Management Accounting, BKAM2013. Topic of our group is limitation of activity-based costing. Limitation that I want to present is activity-based costing is not suitable for small manufacturing or small business concern. Absorption costing or full costing has for years been the most common method of allocating manufacturing overhead. This approach takes the full amount of manufacturing overhead and spread it equally across the production volume of all products. It does not consider that certain products may be responsible for more or fewer costs from specific activity. There are a lot of limitations of ABC system. One of it is ABC may not be as useful for small company where overhead is small in proportion to total operating costs. ABC will be of limited benefit if the overhead costs are primarily volume related. Summarize of article that I got. First, the level of technology and manufacturing environment prevailing in different firms, especially for small companies, affect the application of ABC. Second, small companies usually refuse to implement ABC because of problems and time-consuming costs. They claim that the benefit of the implementation of the ABC is less than implementation costs. Third, Akiyomi claims there is a direct relationship between the size of the company and the use of ABC system. It is expected that as the size of a company is small, it is less likely to make use of ABC system. Fourth, Garrison et al. Claimed that the barrier that prevents small companies from using the ABC system are design, implementation, and maintenance of ABC place businesses on a road to incur significant, incremental, and repeatable ABC expense. Next, challenges faced by small companies to use ABC system. First, small businesses usually produce single product. In any environment that does not have a lot of overhead, ABC is not worth the work and will not deliver insight. ABC is most useful when companies have lots of overhead and a bunch of different products. Thus, ABC does not make sense in any business that sells a single product or provide a single service, which is usually the case in small firms. Second, ABC has different levels of utility for different organizations. Large manufacturing firms can use different levels of utility more usefully than the smaller firms. Also, it is likely that firms depending on cost plus pricing can take advantage from ABC as it gives accurate product costs. Third, ABC more expensive and labor-consuming to implement and maintain. Company size become relevant for ABC adoption, which is more expensive and labor-consuming to implement and maintain respect to traditional system. The condition to implement ABC in any company is that company management allocates sufficient time to analyze the process of each product so that it is accurately determined which process of production the overhead costs are related to and how much they are. Due to problem and consuming a lot of time, small companies usually refuse to implement it. In conclusion, the concept of activity-based costing is actually very simple. ABC does not require a massive effort to implement and that is effective for any business. Thus, small business also can develop an ABC system. ABC has been seen as inappropriate for smaller organizations because the negative assessment was originated by managers of large companies who toiled unsuccessfully to implement the program. The reality is they fail to fully understand ABC. Despite the bad press, smaller organizations are beginning to see that ABC can work as effectively effectively for them as it does for large company. ABC requires only that management view its operation through the lens of ABC and create a model that will enable it to measure costs in accordance with that view.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Ariana Nazwa binti Azman and my matrix number is 280559. Next is limitation of implementing activity-based costing in educating employees. Implementing of ABC costing in any sector will impact on the accounting process, particularly as it relates to organizational performance. Educating employees at all levels about the principle and the mechanic of ABC may be the most difficult task of all. Employees must understand truly what the company is trying to achieve through ABC as well as how to use it in their jobs. They must be convinced that activity-based costing can succeed and that is worth the effort. So, there are some summarized from some journal of limitation of implementing ABC in educating employee. The first one is lack of training facilities. Management require to have future research in implement activity-based costing. The second one is the company or sector need to educate personnel training to carry out in order to familiarize the personnel with the new system. Next, professional training in relation with activity-based costing must be in the order of tasks in the financial department of the official and financial faculty. The fourth is the type of the training regarding activity-based costing must be in a way to provide expert skills for service in this field. Next, educating employee is a limitation of implementing activity-based costing because lack of ABC knowledge. First, management or company will have to concern employee of the organizational to be well equipped with knowledge of activity-based costing. Next, employee and management also had limited knowledge in research on adoption of activity-based costing method. Other than that, employees are not having sufficient education or experience or the irrelevant of their education that prevent the utilization of activity-based costing system. Lastly, employees are not familiar because it's hard to derive the employee understand the complexity of the project, which is activity-based costing. The last one limitation of educating employee is skills of technique by the employees. Usually, the problems why company has given up on their ABC system because they do not think of activity-based management as a major organizational change program. So that company need to combine the organization to pinpoint all the useful information about the direct and indirect cost of a product or service is a huge undertaking. So, it's setting up an information system that can track those cost-contributing activities and present them in format that employees can use. Next, other management systems need to be overhauled to ensure that employees fully incorporate activity-based costing into their work practice and do not treat to their old practice in time of stress or self-doubt. The last one is the activity-based costing team also need to include employees from all departments so that the ownership of the activity-based costing project will be shared with non-accountant. In conclusion, this system tries to help the executive for improving the efficiency through better production and presentation. By focus on the result of the system, efforts in improving effectiveness, efficiency, it helps organization in better implementation of activity-based costing. My suggestion is, by maintaining this system in our learning during studies in university, we will be able to get knowledgeable and skilled employees in the future. They can implement this system in their workplace. This is because compared to traditional system, ABC is better and give more accurate result. So it is more appropriate for a company to make an effective decision. Thank you, and that's all for me.
Greeting, my name is Marjini, matrix number 277998. The topic of our group is limitations of activity-based costing, and the limitation that I would like to present is timeliness of information. I have used 3 journal articles for this research. So the main articles would be the Rihanglu, which is the Anakana Rishi Institute of Social Science Research Assistant. What is the meaning of limitations of activity-based costing? Is the constraints of activity-based costing, which is a costing approach in which the overhead and indirect costs are assigned to linked goods and service. And the definition for timeliness is the time expected for accessibility and availability of information. So it can be measured as the time between when the information is expected and when it is readily available for use. However, information refers to the data collected based on the company activities. So overall, the definitions for the timeliness of information is the time expected for accessibility and availability of company data. Next, I would like to summarize the articles that I found. So why the timeliness of information will bring limitations in activities-based costing, as the managers might require the data on daily or hourly basis in making some report. However, the system used in the company may be just provided information on monthly basis. So therefore, it's often a gap between the time information is reported and the time period is shown in a report. So what will happen? So overall, so at the end, it will affect the qualities of the information reported in any report. Next, the articles also found that the process collecting data is a time-consuming process, especially in the company that have a large amount of the employees. So if the time taken for collecting data is longer, so it will make the decisions making process to become lengthy, and maybe the decisions made by the management team will become less accurate and not based on the latest situations. To make my explanations to become more clearly, I would like to present in an example. So this example takes place in the inspections department. So from the first stage, we can see that the inspections department manager will require to collect the inspections hour taken daily from the workers. And these companies have 10,000 employees at more than 20 facilities to submit a monthly report of time allocations. So due to the large amount of workers, it will definitely incur a higher cost of surveying, and it will require a longer time to collect the data from the large amount of workers. And it will put the systems in a place updated infrequently. So this will cause the data reported in the report may not the latest and will be inaccurate. So this also affects the qualities of information that being reported. And lastly, it will affect the decisions making in a lengthy and inaccurate way due to the qualities of information. Therefore, these suggestions to overcome these limitations would be that firms can practice the multiple cost accounting system of time-driven activities-based costing. So what is the time-driven activity-based costing? Is the firm is not required to survey the employees about the amount of time they spend on the specific jobs during the day, as it will waste time for collecting data. So the time-based costing only needs to evaluate the practical capacities of the workers' time. So definitely the time-driven activity-based costing will save the time for the company to produce the more accurate and latest information. And that's all the presentations for the limitations of activity-based costing on timeliness of information. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Lok Kawan. I'm from Group 6. My matrix number is 278676. I'm going to present about the limitations of activity-based costing, which are also called as ABC. There are a lot of limitations related to adopt the activity-based costing. Based on the articles, one of the limitations of activity-based costing is the process of activity-based costing is more complex compared to the traditional costing system. From the article, we found that the activity-based costing is more complex as it involved numerous cost pools and multiple cost drivers in allocating the cost. An activity cost pool is an aggregate of all the costs incurred for a specific group of activities. In other words, is a way to record the cumulative cost of a group of similar activity. By pooling all costs incurred in a particular activity, it's simpler to get an accurate estimate of the cost of activity. An activity cost pool includes both fixed and variable costs. There are a lot of activity cost pools, such as setting up equipment, machining, inspecting products, moving materials, and more. For example, setting up equipment might be one activity associated with the production of a particular product, and the cost of setup would be one cost included in an activity cost pool. The numerous activity cost pools make the process of activity-based costing more complex. This is because the management need to identify the activities that were associated with the amount of overhead and group them into numerous activity cost pools. Apart from that, activity-based costing is more complex as it involves multiple cost drivers. In allocating the cost, cost drivers are any factors or activity that have a cost-effect relationship with the resources consumed. These are some type of cost drivers: number of setups, number of machine hours, number of labor hours, number of orders complete, number of move, and more. The management should identify the cost drivers associated with each activity. The overhead cost allocated to the cost pools is assigned to products using cost drivers. A cost driver is a factor that drives the cost of activity. Misinterpretation of activity-based costing data will result from the selection of incorrect activity and cost drivers. So, management should be careful in identifying the costs that are relevant to the decision to be made. That's all from me. Thank you. I will pass to my friends to present the other limitation of activity-based costing.
Assalamualaikum and good day to everyone. My name is Siti Sarah binti Hazani and my metric number is 280818 and I'm from group 6. I will explain about limitation of activity-based costing and my point is hard to identify cost drivers. In the recent past, there is a shift from conventional business-to-business competition to drastic increase in competition in domestic and foreign markets with responsive innovative information technology. Therefore, companies should adopt new methods for calculating the cost and a global worldview approach to such overhead system calculation. Currently, different improved methods of allocating this overhead are available. The best method so far is activity-based costing system, which is related to manufacturing overhead costs. This new method has already attracted most attention because of its flexibility and ability to allocate overhead. Many companies have already chosen and implement the ABC system in order to improve cost and performance of the products and services. Hence, this is based on the market economy perspective. The selection of cost drivers is the most important aspect of the analyzing activities and their costs. The classification as value added and non-value added will help to identify the cost drivers for each activity. This could be entrusted to an ABC team, which includes people from various divisions in the supply chain. It is difficult to choose the most appropriate cost drive. The benefit obtained from ABC may not be worth the cost. Managers must first identify which costs are truly relevant for the decision at hand before making any useful decision based on activity-based costing data. If the overhead costs are mostly volume-related or make up a small percentage of the total cost, ABC will be of limited use. It takes time to assign costs to activities as well as to identify and track cost drivers. Activity-based costing accounts for batch-level operation as one of the 5 main levels of activity. Activity-based costing is a way of costing that was created to address the perceived flaws of classic absorption costing. Costing dependent on activities, the estimated expenses for the activities and related cost drivers that have the greatest impact on overhead costs are listed below. Some businesses only make a single or a few products. It encourages the use of performance management tools such as scorecards and continuous improvement. When the company use activity-based costing, they will evaluate both the direct and indirect expenses of producing each product. You need to understand the various items necessitate varying indirect costs. Activity-based costing is used to allocate overhead costs to jobs or functions in businesses. In conclusion, activity-based costing is a different approach to analyzing an organization cost in order to maximize profit margin. If ABC is implemented correctly and for the right reason, it can provide significant long-term value to the organization. That's all from me. Thank you.